Hey guys, so Merry Christmas, and I'm recording my bike ride right now. Gonna go for a century ride, maybe. Might do a little bit less miles, seeing as a century ride would take me until it gets dark. But I thought Christmas Day is a good day to be out on the road and then on gravel, because you know the trails and the bike paths are going to be pretty light today. Not too many people, being Christmas Day. Hopefully the roads are the same way, and then the air will be a little bit cleaner. Where I live in Southern California, the air quality is that of any big city. It gets pretty bad here. So, you know, if you can find a day when there's not a lot of cars on the road, like on the weekend, or heck, during COVID, it was amazing. There was not any cars on the road and our air quality went really high. So I want to show you something, and that's my Apple Watch. It tells you this. I'm not sure if you could see that, but it'll tell me it looks like you're working out, and it'll show a picture of a bike, and you can see that. Hold on. And then you just press record and it'll start recording, and it'll actually take it from the start of your ride and put those, because I've already rode about 3 or 4 miles right now, and put that in there. And then it'll auto pause, because I set it to auto pause. I don't really pay attention to the different dashboard screens on the watch, just because I don't have time to really look at the watch while I'm riding my bike. I'm focusing on riding my bike, and the way you have your hands on your handlebars, it's not really easy viewable way for your watch. Now what I do with my other methods of recording, and I'll take this off my handlebars real quick, is I have my Garmin Edge 530 up there, and then I have my Polar Vantage watch right there. And obviously I'd rather just wear my Polar Vantage watch, but I'm trying to give this Apple Watch a chance to see what it offers as far as fitness tracking and kind of comparing it. I already know that it doesn't have, like, that's my power on my Polar Vantage. The Apple Watch obviously will not tell you power, and doesn't have all the different screens and dashboards. That's my wattage right now, because I have 2 power settings. My music, Apple Watch does that. That's an overall with my heart rate and the distance and my speed, and then my average speed. And you set that up the way you want with your Polar. When you connect your Polar to your your laptop, or you can actually set up I don't know if you could do it on your iPhone, but that's one thing. Some of the other, like Garmin watches, I think you can set up all your screens on your phone. So obviously I set up a bunch of screens on my Garmin too. This is the main screen where I have a bunch of data, and you set how many data fields you even want. So I have the main screen with a bunch of data right there. I have, oh, I went back, sorry. I got to remember, when I scroll through this is different than when I scroll through my my other Garmin. So this is how I scroll through this one on the left. That's my speed right now, and has, you know, I kind of changed to have the data fields present that way. You get to choose how you want your data fields to present. This is obviously your GPS showing your routes. This is another view of your heart rate and percentage, and kind of gives you a little graph You could choose to have graphs on your dashboard. This is an app that so with Garmin's you have apps, just like you have apps on your Android and your Apple watches. You have apps for your Garmin devices and your Garmin watches, and you could choose the different apps to choose what type of screens based on those apps. Most are free. There are some pay ones, but as you can see, this gives you a lot of information, starting with the speed in like a speedometer type format, then the heart rate in a heart rate graph format, and then there's other data fields such as power and everything else. So that's that one. Here's another app that I used. This one looks really cool at night because you could see the kind of the sublimated type of data behind it easier at night than during the day. Probably on a bigger Garmin like the 830 or the 1040, you would see it better too. Here is a screen with way too much data, if you will, but it's color coded. So with the color coding, it actually shows you what important things you should know with the color coding. Starting at the top with which direction you're heading, east, with your speed. So you're heading east at 9 miles an hour. You know, that's relevant. It has your, in red, your average pace. Your green is your heart rate. Your purple is your power. And let me see what else. Lap time. Hello. So it has a bunch of stuff on there, and it's interesting. And that was another app I got from Garmin Connects. So honestly, I really feel like Garmin is what I would just, if I hadn't bought anything prior, because I was using Polar for 20 years. So if I wasn't already accustomed and having the Polar system on my fitness, I probably would have just went straight Garmin Edge and Garmin watch. But since I was already used to Polar and I like it, so here's the power one you get when you connect up a power meter. I'm using Garmin's own Rally XC 200 pedals, and if you get the 200, it does this left and right kind of evaluation. If you get the Garmin 100, then you'll get power, but it's only on one pedal. And then back to that screen. And you can add more and more screens. You could have it so you don't have to sit there and touch through the screens. You can have it just kind of turn the page through the screens for you automatically at a fast pace or a slow pace, whatever you want. My Polar watch doesn't do that. So Garmin's thought of a lot of stuff, believe me. They just came around longer. They just didn't come out till Polar had already been out over 10 years before Garmin was introduced. And Polar was already advanced with the heart rate monitoring stuff before Garmin got into that. Now both my devices are connected to my Polar H10 heart rate monitor, and both of the devices are connected to my power pedals. The Apple Watch is not connected to any external sensors. It's just doing the heart rate off my wrist, and there's only a few screens, and I can't really do that while I'm riding, but there's only a few screens, and I played around with those dashboards a little bit, but they're really superficial, and and non-comprehensive compared to, obviously compared to a regular sports watch like something from Garmin or Polar. And don't forget Suunto and Coros and multiple other ones that are coming out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to enjoy my Christmas. I hope you guys enjoy your Christmas. And there's a little bit about my data world with my heart rate monitor watches and stuff like that, and my trying out the Apple Watch and getting used to that. So I should scroll through these screens. So here's my heart rate. That's a good screen right there. Give me just a focused on the heart rate. Anyway, and then I showed you on the other video where I analyzed my sleep and everything like that. So this is a regular route for people that are doing road rides, but I've found an area where I connect to the trail and kind of do a combination road gravel. I'll turn this route into a 100-mile ride by going up into the foothills and getting up there a little bit and then going all the way down to the beach and back. So that's how I get my 100 miles. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and hey, Merry Christmas and God bless. And I hope you guys, take interest in your health and do something about it, because health is wealth. You've only got one chance to succeed with your health. It really is. There's no second chances. Even if you think so, you had a major surgery, you think, oh, I got a second chance. Technically, the damage is done, so you're never going to be back to 100%. So you don't really have second chances with health. So